All right, good evening, everyone. I know some people are still connecting to audio, but just want to get started. So my name is Catherine from SEB Housing, and tonight we're going to run the lottery for the 4 affordable condominiums located at Terrazza in Wellesley. I will get the lottery underway in just a few moments. Before doing that, just want to give you some background on the applications we received and some logistics. So first, just want to mention if you have any questions during this session, you can type them into the chat box in Zoom, or you can momentarily unmute yourself to ask a question. The session is being recorded. You heard that message when you came into the room, and that's because it's going to be posted to SEB Housing's YouTube channel for anyone who wasn't able to view it who wants to. So just some background information on the lottery itself, next steps. No reason to write any of this down. You're going to get a summary of it later on tonight in an email. So there's 4 affordable 2-bedroom homes available to applicants with household incomes at or below 80% of the area median income. And we received a total of 244 completed lottery applications. So there's going to be 244 households in this lottery. 50 households indicated that they have local preference. So those households either live or work full-time in Wellesley. 139 of the 244 households are type 2 or 3 households, which means they're larger households, basically. And 105 of the households that applied are type 1 households. Everybody should already have a lottery application number. That number started with TER for Terrazza. So, for example, your number might be TER.001 going all the way up to 0250. Let me know if you don't have that or if you forgot it. That is the number that you're going to be looking for on the waiting lists that are established after this lottery drawing. And I'm not going to be calling anyone's name or anything like that during this lottery to protect everyone's privacy. So also, back when you completed your application to talk about those type 1 and 2 households, you will have indicated and we will have confirmed your household type. So when you received an email from us confirming your lottery number, it also confirmed what household type you're considered. And that's important because type 2 households will have top priority for the 2-bedroom homes. This is because the affordable housing program is designed so that smaller households or households who don't require all of the bedrooms in the home don't have priority over households who actually require that larger home. So the local preference that I mentioned, so there's going to be local priority for 2 of the 4 condos. So if you answered yes on your lottery application to the local preference question, you're going to have preference on one of the waiting lists. There's going to be 2 waiting lists. There's going to be a waiting list for 2 local preference homes and a waiting list for 2 general or open lottery homes. Everyone, regardless of whether or not you indicated that you were a local preference, is going to be on both waiting lists, but those households who have local priority will be sorted towards the top of the waiting list. Anyone who did say that they had local preference, just keep in mind that after the lottery, if you're one of the top households on the waiting list, you're going to be required to submit verification of that priority. So you might be asked to submit, something, or you will be asked to submit something that confirms that you either live or work full-time in Wellesley. So when the drawing takes place tonight, you're not going to know exactly where you fall on the waiting list, even if you're drawn first. And the reason for that is because I still am going to need to sort the results from tonight, taking the priorities that I just mentioned into consideration. So your household type and also whether or not your local preference in order to compile those waiting lists. I will do my best to send that to you within the next couple of hours. So you'll have the sorted waiting list very soon after the lottery. But like I said, the lottery itself is just kind of a step in the process. You're not going to know tonight exactly if where you stand or if you're at the top of the waiting list. So during tonight's drawing, I'm going to be doing it digitally rather than pulling 244 numbers from a box. We're going to be using a website called random.org. We've done this with larger lotteries in the past, and hopefully it's a little more transparent. I will be sharing my screen with you so you can see that, and hopefully we'll cut down on any and any issues that we might run into with a lottery where we're pulling the numbers out of a box. So when I go to random.org, I'm going to show you kind of a practice run of this, but what's going to happen is I'm going to insert the application numbers for the 244 households into the list randomizer function of that website, and it's going to return a digitally generated random order. I'm going to do the same thing for the local priority household. So there's going to be 50 lottery numbers in that drawing, and we'll randomize that list using this randomizer function. It'll be instantaneous, so you'll see it right on your screen. I will scroll down so you can see kind of where you fell. And like I said, that's not the waiting list, though. We still need to sort it after the fact. So I'm going to quickly share my screen so you can see how that's going to work, just with some random numbers, not with the actual lottery numbers right now. So I'm going to just bear with me for 1 second, sharing my screen now, so you should be able to see. This is the website random.org. This is just the face of it. I'm going to use the list randomizer function. And so if I put in numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, obviously we're going to have many more numbers than that when I'm doing the drawing in a few moments, but this is how it's going to look. Random.org is going to randomize the numbers when I press this button. So we have 1 through 5 there. If I click randomize, number 5 was the first household drawn in this random drawing. So that's how it's going to look. There's going to be 50 numbers in a row. I'm going to screenshot it. Make sure I have all of this information. So when I sort the results, I'll have the order that was drawn. So I'll do 2 of these drawings, 1 for the local priority, and then 1 for the general drawing with the full 244 household lottery application numbers in there. Okay, so after the lottery tonight, like I said, the results are going to be sorted. I'm going to create the waiting list based on the order that was drawn tonight, and the sorted waiting lists are going to be attached to an email that you receive later on tonight. You're also going to have the synopsis of kind of like who applied and all of that, so you have that information. When you receive the email with the waiting list, you're going to notice that the top few households on the waiting list, on each waiting list, are going to be highlighted in green. That's because those top households are going to be sent a separate notice from SEB Housing asking that they now provide the necessary income, asset, and tax documentation. It's important to remember you were entered into this lottery based on your self-reported income on your lottery application. So we haven't gathered any information from you yet about your income, asset, or taxes. Households were entered into the lottery just based on what they put on that application. So, excuse me, if you are invited after the lottery to move forward, you're going to have about 10 days to supply that information. When you received your lottery application number in an email from us, there was a documentation requirements guide that was sent to you as well. I believe it was a link in the body of the email itself. So that explains in detail the types of supporting documentation we're going to be requesting from those top waitlist households. So hopefully you've been able to gather some of that information already, just in case you are called forward. So again, just want to be sure that everybody understands this lottery is an important step in the process, but even if you are one of those top households on the waiting list after the drawing and after the sorted results, you're not guaranteed, unfortunately, a chance to purchase one of the condos. We first need to verify your income and asset information and make sure that you're eligible for the affordable housing program. So after tonight's lottery, we're going to be inviting 6 applicants from each of the 2 waiting lists. So 6 applicants from the waiting list that has local priority and 6 from the general waiting list to move forward in the process. So that's 12 houses total, but there's only 4 condos available. So you might be wondering why I would be doing that. And the reason that we're doing that is because we want to be sure that the process isn't delayed by us screening only the very top household on each waiting list. It's possible that the first household on the waiting list will provide all of the necessary documentation, will be found eligible, will eventually move forward to purchase one of the homes. If that ends up being the case, some of you will have submitted verification and potentially been found eligible for the program, but never had the opportunity to purchase the home. So we don't really know how it's going to play out, but we are going to invite more than 4 households to move forward in this process. You know, things happen. Sometimes an applicant decides that they're no longer interested in the home. Maybe they are not able to get the mortgage commitment at the end of the day, that sort of thing. So if you're not one of those top households highlighted in green on the waiting list that is sent to you tonight, you're not going to be moving forward at this time. However, if one of the households that is ahead of you on the waiting list, so say you are number 6 on the waiting list, or I should say number 8 on the waiting list, and the 7 households ahead of you drop off for one reason or another, you could be called to move forward in the process at a later date. And then one final note before the drawing. So if you've been in the Wellesley area recently, you might have driven by the property and noticed the main building at Terrazza, as well as the nearby affordable condos. They're still under construction. Everything's still under construction. The development team from Terrazza confirmed for me this week that they expect the affordable condos to be completed by late October. And then the main building that has the amenities, so the fitness center, the courtyard that is available to all residents, for example, that building is expected to be ready by the end of the year. So for households who end up purchasing these condos, just want you to be aware that the amenities might not be accessible right away when you move in. There might be a month or 2 or so before you're able to access those, just because of the way that construction is playing out. I have one question here that is a direct message. What if you're a type 1 household but have local preference? So if you look on the info packet that we have, if you're a type 1 household who has local preference, there are still several tiers, we call them, of priority ahead of you. So type 2 households that have local preference on the local priority waiting list are going to be first, followed by non-local preference type 2 households, and then type 1 households who have local preference. So your household type is weighted more heavily, or in terms of the program is more important than your local priority on this waiting list. So everybody will still have a spot on the waiting list. You just might not be as high as you might be hoping because of that type 1 household type. So any other questions before I do the drawing here? I'm going to pull up the application numbers that I'm going to be dropping into that random.org function. And I will screen share all that with you as it's happening. So I just need 1 second to get that set up. So another direct message here, we still expected to pay the monthly condo fee even if the main building isn't ready yet. I believe so. I don't know what amenities you would be. I can't speak to that right now specifically, but at closing, if you were one of the households that was moving forward to buy one of the homes, that might be something you potentially could negotiate if you're not able to access any of the amenities. The condo fee, yes, that's the condo fee that is on the information packet is specific to the affordable condos. The condo fee for market rate units is typically a lot higher. Will the winners know which condo they've been assigned tonight? No, so nobody's assigned anything tonight. The waiting list still needs to be sorted. The results from tonight are going to be sorted onto the waiting list by me. You'll get an email from me in a few hours with that. And there's still many steps before anyone would be able to reserve a condo. We still have to gather income, asset, tax information from you, confirm that you're eligible for the affordable housing program, and then you'd move towards getting a purchase and sale agreement, reserving a unit with the sales team, and all of that. So again, the lottery tonight is an important step in the process, but it is not the final step in the process by any means. You would be able to choose which available home you were interested in if the time came to that. So it's not something that, if there's only one home left by the time you are ready to purchase, then that would be the home that you'd be offered. But if you're the first person to get through the process, then you would have your choice. One other question here, just how will trash be handled? I don't have that information handy tonight, but it is something that you would be, I believe, off the top of my head, I believe trash and recycling is included in the condo fees. I don't know if it's a dumpster or how it works, but that is something that you would certainly know before committing to anything. So I'm going to share my screen again. This is how I'm going to get the numbers to put into random.org. So these are the local preference application numbers. So these numbers represent everyone who has local priority. I'm going to do that local drawing first. So this is 50 numbers here. This top number, this top information here is taking up the top column, so it looks like 51, but it's just 50. So I'm going to take all of these and copy and paste once I get back onto random.org here. And I will do that now. Oops. Go back to the list randomizer. And then I'm going to go again and take my 50 application numbers here and drop them into the list randomizer to complete the local drawing. So if I scroll up here, these are the 50 application numbers that represent everyone in the local priority pool. So I'm going to click randomize again. After I do this, I'm going to screenshot the order. I'm also going to put it into the Excel sheet that I just took this from to show you the order there. So here's the order. Don't worry, you'll be able to see this in just a minute. And just give me a sec here to clean it up. Save this. I'm also going to screenshot those results. And you can see it says there are 50. No. All right, so these are the results for the local priority. Before anybody asks where you fell, I'm going to do the open drawing, and then if you don't see your number, I'm going to clear this so it doesn't cause confusion. If you don't see your number, you can let me know. So I'm going to go on to the open drawing. This is everyone. So this is 244 application numbers over here that I'm going to be dropping into the list randomizer again. So I'm going to go back, just instead of clearing this, just to get completely out of it, I'm going to go to start a new one here. So this is the drawing of everyone. So 244 lottery application numbers are being entered into this drawing. This is the drawing for all lottery applicants. So for that second waiting list, where there is no local priority, we'll just be looking at these sorted results. So here they are. I'm going to click randomize again. There were 244 items, and these were the results. So I'm going to, again, just put all of this onto a sheet so I'm able to have the data right in front of us. Just give me 1 second. And so I know that if you have it up on your screen right now, you can see the top few numbers, but I will scroll down so you'll be able to see every number. So just one moment here. All right, thanks for your patience there. So I'm going to go over again to the local priority drawing. I'm going to make this a little bigger in case that helps. This is how the drawing for the local numbers played out. So you can see here the person with 0154 was the first number drawn. I'm going to scroll down slowly so you can see. If you're expecting to be on the local list, you can see where you are on the list here. And then I'm going to go over to the open drawing as well. These are not the results per se. This is the results of the drawing tonight, but I still need to sort these results onto the waiting list. So if you're type 1, you might have been drawn first, but you're not going to be near the top of the waiting list because type 2 households have priority for these 2-bedroom condos. So again, it might look to you as if you're pretty far down the list, but when we do the sorting, you may be a lot closer to the top or vice versa. You might look like you are quite near the top, but that may not be the case depending on your household type. So I'm going to go to the open results here. The second drawing, if you didn't have local preference, or if you did have local preference, everyone is in this drawing. So these are results of the lottery for everyone. You can see TER.0108 was drawn first. I'm going to scroll down from there. Looking out for your number that was sent to you by SEB when your application was approved. Probably, well, for some of you, it may have been recently. For some of you, it may have been a while ago, depending on when you applied. Again, these aren't the results. Just want to make it clear, but I hope to be sorting them and have those results to you very soon, tonight. Once I get to the bottom here, if you don't see your number, you can let me know, and I can look for it for you. Again, it's not going to tell you much, but I know that you tuned in because you want to see where you're drawn. Okay, we're down to about 150 now. Got a little ways to go to get to the end of the list, which will be number 244. There was 244 completed lottery applications for Terrazza. All right, so I'm at the end now. Does anyone have any questions, or did anyone not see their number that wants to have me look it up on either list? Sure. So I'm going to look up (0207). On the open list, you were drawn 49th, and you weren't on the other list. (0142). You were drawn 85th on the open list and 32nd on the local list. So Lisa, you're asking what does order drawn mean? So I just did the two drawings for Terrazza. So local priority households were drawn, and then everyone was drawn in the open list. So it's, we held the lottery, but now I need to sort the results onto the waiting list. So it's telling you what order you came in during the drawing tonight, but it doesn't tell you where you are on the waiting list just yet, because I'll be sorting those results later on tonight. I'm going to look up 0224. You were 155th on the open list, and you were not on the local. That's 0244. 0179. You were 53rd on the open list, and you were not on the local. 0178. You were 190th on the open and not on the local. Give me a minute here. 0182. You were 102nd on the open list and 24th on the local list. And then we had someone, I see someone raise their hand here. If you can either unmute yourself or you can type into the chat if you have a question. 0180. You were 94th on the open list and you weren't on the local. I know I keep saying it, but just a reminder that these results are just from the drawing. I'm going to sort the results onto the waiting list right after this call. And so you'll be emailed the waiting list themselves. So you'll know a lot more about whether or not you'll be called forward to move on to the next step towards purchasing one of the condos. 0102. You were 166th on the open and 15th on the local. It says 16 over here, but that's just a column. 0137. You were 49th on the local list and 43rd on the open list. Anyone else want me to look it up before sorting? Again, I'm sorry we don't have, official waiting list to share during these calls, but we need to sort the results after the fact. So 0243 on the open list, you are 26th, and you are also 26th on the local list. Interesting. 0053. You were 28th on the open list, and you were not on the local. Just give it one more minute here, and then I will get to work on sorting the results. And you will have those tonight, and you will know if you're going to be called forward by SEB Housing to submit income asset tax documentation to get the process moving towards reserving a home if you're found eligible for the affordable housing program. So 0161. You were called 18th in the open list, and you weren't on the local. Anyone else? All right, I appreciate everyone joining in. You'll hear from me. It'll actually be coming from info. The email tonight will be coming from info@sebhousing.com. Again, it'll have a attachment with the waiting list. It'll also have an attachment with kind of a synopsis of how tonight went and the applications that we received, so you can get kind of a summary of that. And I appreciate, again, all of you joining in, and best of luck. Have a good night.